Idealization and Constitution, Two Interrelated Concepts, by Luca Brennecke. Hello friend, and welcome back to yet another episode of Philosophy Channel. Today we follow the lines of idealization and constitution to experience to help us at work, the workplace. Idealization as an interoperative concept. The first line of observation follows the concept of idealization. Instead of presenting you a static definition, we will see how this action works in synchrony with other operational concepts. We can delineate it by sketching its difference from other modes of word use. Like so. Idealization does not denote an encapsulated word object. Idealization functions in cooperation with other operations. It modulates its function in relation to co-functions. I know this is still vague, but this vagueness is due to the fact that thus far we have looked at this word merely as a separate term. It will gain functionality when we link it to other operative concepts. The one that I have studied for today is that of constitution. Constitution derives its power from the constants with which it functions. It constitutes its modality of functioning from its coterms. Thus, constitution can operate coterminous with work, activity, and like processes. An example in the mode of show as you go. The pristine white keyboard that I am typing this on is actually not really white. Pink color spills over from my pinkish curtains. Seeing them as white would be an idealization, but I can successfully ignore these nuances in order to concentrate on writing. The unnoticed troublemakers of this writing and idealizing are irritations. Let us further our meditation on the process of making sense of these operative concepts. I am listening to music as I work on this episode. My conscious awareness does not follow its every single phrase. Rather, it is a rhythm in which breath and to some extent writing fuse. Further, when back strain increases, I can gently recline. Another factor. Functioning together, these acts, ignoring nuances, joining rhythms, and alternating postures, modulate my experience of the work process. How to make it count. We have seen how idealizing away from irritating nuances, partly joining with background music, and altering our posture aids our work constituting practice. So let us proceed to understand how to make this count for our work life. In the example that I have just been describing, idealizing your practice to the effect that focus on writing succeeds can be conducive to the work process. So the ongoing work of constituting an informational video for you does not reduce to me hammering out do's and don'ts. Rather, it is a modification of the modality in which we, people whose work desk is the site of performing labor, optimize our outputs. And since I am not at all an all-knowing guru, I am elaborating techniques that help us build a desirable work environment. So far, we have been on the brighter side of the workplace. Let us continue by shedding light on its shadowy aspects. Now that we have briefly considered some techniques for being functional in our workplace, we can bring to light some less ideal conditions of our work. Indeed, for idealization to operate smoothly, it does need to be freed from all or most glitches that constrict our corporeality within the circuits of data. Let us then, in the mood of doing while reading, study a factor that constricts our workability. Resistance. We are all familiar with the situation this word denotes. Writer's block. A body that feels constrained. Irregular breathing. That is resistance as a reducer of conductivity. In some amounts, resistance, a reducer of conductivity, is necessary for the work constituting process. In others, it delays performance. Resistance ought to be understood not outside of what the idealization process does, but rather as very fact of the materiality in which work is conducted. To make this palpable, sometimes you just have too many background processes running on your computer. Other times, you've been sitting in the same spot for a bit too long. The quantity of strain on your body in workplace can be adjusted so as to lead constitution onwards. Tension, another factor influencing our performance at work. With our previous considerations in mind, resistance as always part of conductivity, we can now see that a reduction of resistance or stress can soothe the work of constitution. This does not equal, to be clear, an oppositional relation to irritations that would understand them as obstacles to be removed. Even mistakes, which can be parsed as perturbating glitches, are a reminder that we are working in an idealized work setting. Factoring in both intensity variations in the flow of work, as well as registering mistakes as indelible features of work, are signs of a perpetually self-balancing worker/system. Tension, again, this time as a constraint that can be reduced. If tensions can no longer be assuaged by posture and/or equipment adjustments, mistakes join the slowing down of constitution. Light exercises with breath, gentle movements, or a glass of water can help. Let us remember that the ongoing process of constitution remains an ideal one. Being conscious of this irreducible fact assuages the frustration that could be caused by perceiving alterations as erratic failures or disturbing delays. Taking stock, how we proceed when at work. Idealization is a process in which we are conscious of, yet unrestricted by imperfections within our work environment. Tensions that slow down the work process can be productive when turned to a comfortable level, tuned. Constitution consists in operations of modulating tensions and latencies that are a constant factor within our work processes. Summary, a preliminary conclusion. There are nuanced adjustments to posture, breath, and interface setup which can ease the flow of work. An interruption can be a pause, a feeling of anxiety, a gentle motivator. Remembering that you work for people you care about makes it all easier. I hope you found this helpful. If you did, please consider showing your appreciation by becoming a member of Philosophy Channel on patreon.com. As always, thanks for watching.